Senior Moments, the show where we talk about all things senior, the good, the bad, and the utterly ridiculous. This is our first show of the new year, so Happy New Year, everybody. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming Evita Olson from our public health program at Calaveras County. Welcome.
Hi, well, thank you for having me. I'm very pleased to be here to discuss the Healthy Aging Program at Calaveras County Public Health.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's been, how long have you been working on that? You've been...
Yeah, I was hired in June,
Mhm.
and when I was hired, they told me that I was assigned to the Healthy Aging Program, and it was my job to create it.
Okay.
Yeah, so part of my job so far has been collecting data and understanding the infrastructure and the wants and needs of older adults in Calaveras County to make a program for them, with them.
Okay.
Is my goal.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And do you have a mission statement?
I don't have a for sure one, but I know that we want it to be something about providing opportunities and outreach and improving health equity for older adults through collaboration.
Okay.
It's all still in the works. We are working on developing a scope of work to have a more streamlined program. The really cool thing is that as we're getting up and running, I'm meeting with more people and hearing what they want from a public health program, and I'm able to incorporate that into the overall program at public health. So not every program can be fine-tuned and worked the way this one is. So it's a really unique opportunity.
Sounds exciting. And how wonderful to be able to create a program from scratch.
Yeah.
A little difficult to get the words out today, I guess. But creating it from scratch and, being able to put your vision into it and then take the information you get from other people and use that. It's not some cookie cutter thing that now you're trying to put people into, round people into a square hole or.
Yeah. And so even if we were to adopt a program from another rural county, it wouldn't quite work for our county because we're unique.
Absolutely. We've got 10 different communities and
Yeah.
even more than that if you count some of the ones that don't really show up on the map anymore but are still
They're
a
still
community
there.
because,
Yeah.
they're there and the people that are there still call it that. So,
And they have their own culture and way of doing things. And so it's really cool to be able to come into this knowing that and prioritizing honoring that.
right.
Yeah.
So what are the tenets of the program? Are you going to go with mental health, physical health, nutrition? How are the...
Well, the public health side of things does touch a little bit of behavioral health and mental health, but it really focuses on physical health.
Okay.
And we know there's an overlap, right? So
Sure.
if your brain's not healthy, your body's not healthy. So this program is more focused on health education in order to promote better health outcomes.
Okay.
So we really want to give people the tools in order to make those changes, to improve their quality of life.
All right. I did get a couple of books off the National Institute on Aging.
Yeah.
The exercise book is amazing. They've changed it. I really like the format. I think it's really, it's easy to read, easy to understand, and they give you very practical things
Yeah.
to do.
So you can just read it and do it.
Exactly.
It's not one of those books that just say, you should exercise.
Exactly.
Like it helps you figure out how you can incorporate that into what you're already doing.
Right.
A little bit.
And one of the things I really like about it is you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of equipment. They teach you to use what's already in your home. You got a chair, you can use that for balance. You got cans in your cupboard, you can use that for weights. I really like that because it takes your excuses away. Well, I can't do that because I'd have to go buy weights, and then, I really can't afford it this month, so maybe next month. But you know what? I got a couple of bottles of water in my refrigerator. I can use those.
Yeah.
And they're already there.
Yeah. I love that book. I do have some in my office, so anyone's interested, I have
Okay.
the book.
All right.
I'm pairing that along with the pedometer, so if people want to count their steps, I have that.
That is a big thing anymore. I am not a step counter. I still go with my 40 minutes walk.
Just timing it.
Yes,
Yeah.
just timing it. But I have an awful lot of relatives that are counting their steps, and I believe that when my sister and I walked to the top of Diamond Head in Hawaii, it was enough steps for her to complete a whole week, I think.
Oh my gosh.
It was a lot of steps, let me tell
Yeah.
you, but it was fun. I was glad I did it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You guys went all the way up there.
Yep, we went all the way up there. I wasn't going to. I had flip-flops on, which was a poor choice in footwear.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
So I went up part way, and then I told my sister, just keep going, and when you come back down, I'll join you again. Well, I sat there for a while, and then she never came. So I started walking because I was bored.
Yeah.
And by the time I caught up to her, it became a challenge, and I just had to finish it. So
Yeah. You were so close.
exactly. So I was glad I did.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a
Yeah.
fantastic memory.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So you're talking about physical health and exercise. I have read that there are specific types, targeted, I think is really the right word, targeted exercise that seniors should do. For example, I'm very proud of the fact I walk 40 minutes 3 times a week. Mostly I try to do 4 times, but not less than 3 times. But then I have been told that, well, once you reach 50, your balance starts to go. You have to start doing specific exercises for balance. So there's another
Yeah.
tier or leg, whatever you want to call it. So you've got the aerobic, you've got the balance. What else?
Strength.
Strength
Strength
training,
training.
probably, right? And I think there's a 4th one, but I am just not remembering it.
Not sure myself.
Yeah. So how are you going to reach people? Are you going to have programs or classes or what?
So I am looking at hosting a social gathering initiative. So it's more of a cafe model intervention where I hope to host a social in 7 different towns across Calaveras County. And the hope for that is that we can reduce social isolation amongst the more rural older adults who
Okay.
have more difficulty getting out. So that's why I'm hoping to host in different towns, like community-based
Okay.
locations.
I believe in Amador County, Foothill Fitness is set up that way. It's a program for seniors, and one of their successes is that they have, I know people that go to their class in Ione, some go to the senior center in Jackson. I believe there's a group up in Pioneer or Pine Grove, but that's part of their tenet is bring the groups to the different areas so that people have better access.
Yeah, it's not all of the communities are set up where you can meet. Like one of the locations that I'm going to is going to be Railroad Flat,
Okay.
and they don't have a restaurant or a coffee shop or somewhere where people can regularly gather. They do, however, have the community library up there. So I'm going to be hosting my social using that space, and I hope that that'll make people more familiar with going to the community library when I'm not there. But also when I host this event, they'll be able to come out and have coffee, light refreshments, and meet their neighbors.
Okay. So then that's not going to be an exercise.
No, this is
Setup.
more focused on targeting social isolation.
Okay.
So I'm really hoping that it will be casual, relaxed, and people will talk.
Right.
You know, have meaningful conversations and feel more connected to their community and a part of something bigger than themselves.
I think that's really important. I know that I have a tendency, once I get home, I don't want to go anywhere. But I also know that if I make myself get out and go do something that's social, I have a good time once I'm there. It's just the getting over the hurdle of oh, I
God.
gotta get dressed.
Yeah.
And I have to get in the car and like
Yeah.
drive somewhere, really? But
My goodness.
yeah, I know. I don't
And
know
then
why.
once you're there,
Exactly.
yeah.
That is wonderful. Yes. So I do know some people that are at the Foothill Fitness,
Mm-hmm.
and partly what those exercise groups has done is there's people, at least the one that I own, they go, I think, 3 times a week, and then after they get done exercising, they go to one of the local restaurants, and they all have breakfast together, and so
yeah.
it has accomplished what, the second
Mhm.
part.
So they make a
is-
day out of it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So they really have
Mhm.
developed relationships. They've got friends that it's not just going to the exercise classes.
Yeah, well, it helps that they're sharing in an activity.
Right.
Yeah, that really helps build rapport and how you get to know people.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's less intense. It's easier to be part of an activity
Mhm.
to get to know somebody as opposed to like sitting like we are right now one-on-one, where
Yeah.
the other if I didn't already know you, and I guess if I was a different kind of person, I might feel intimidated talking one-on-one to somebody that I don't know very well. Whereas if I'm in a group and I'm doing things, then the conversation kind of happens a little more naturally,
Yeah.
and do you need help doing this or need help doing that, and things can take a little slower pace and a more natural pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on your socials, are you going to have any topics, like pre-prepared topics you guys want to talk about, or?
Yeah, so it's going to be very lightly structured. I'm going to open with an icebreaker that people can choose to participate in if they're comfortable, and encourage people to get snacks because I'm going to bring coffee, tea, and snacks. And then after everybody's settled in, I'm going to be having for the pilot version, I'm going to be sharing our community health assessment data for the town that I'm in. But in the future, that will be an opportunity for a guest speaker to come and share information that's relevant to the older
nice.
adults. And after that, it's pretty casual, but I'm still brainstorming activities because that is a really good way to break the ice and just get to know each other. I am workshopping the icebreakers and the activities.
Okay.
Because that's a little bit more challenging.
Absolutely.
But I am going to be, something I'm really excited about that I learned at the Senior Provider Network is that art is a really good way to help people feel like they're doing something together and collaborative and enter a similar mindset. So I'm going to have paper on the tables that, like lining the table like a tablecloth,
Right.
that people can draw on and write on and do. So hopefully that also helps people relax and have fun, because that's my goal, honestly, is that people have fun.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Yeah.
I don't want to get it to be too structured.
No, because it kind of takes away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're bringing coffee and stuff like that, so you're probably not going to meet in a restaurant.
No, I have one of the 7 socials already scheduled.
Okay.
That one's going to be February 28th at the San Andreas Library in the Chesborough Room.
Okay.
And so that's an example of the venues that I'm going to be using. And so I'm going to be bringing the coffee and the tea and the snacks.
Okay.
So it's more like that.
Have you coordinated with Common Ground or
Mm-hmm.
possibly Calaveras Connect to help get people there?
So I've met with them both.
Okay.
Calaveras Connect, the dial-a-ride service, runs along all of the locations that I'm looking at hosting, and so that is an option for people that would like to use that service.
Right.
And I also spoke with Common Grounds about this using Silver Streak Transportation as another option, and they're going to look into the logistics of that.
Oh, nice.
But they are excited to support
Oh, yeah.
the social.
And I think Calaveras Connect, I shouldn't make promises for them, but I would ask if they could have free rides for those particular things.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like $1, I think, to ride, for a senior to ride and dial-a-ride, $1 each way. So it's not hugely expensive, but still, if you could, well, shoot, I got $25 in quarters in my purse today. I'm trying not to hit my savings account. So, there are those times that a couple of dollars makes a big difference.
It does, and it's just another little barrier to going
Yeah.
out.
Exactly, and I think
Yeah.
that's the key, is to remove as many barriers as you can.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how you're gonna remove the barrier that, oh, I have to get dressed, but,
I
you
can't
know what,
help
you
with
could
that.
you could have a pajama party one time.
Oh, that would be fun.
You know, you don't wanna
Yeah.
get dressed today, I'm just,
Come with your curlers.
yeah, exactly, you know, your fluffy robe and your slippers and,
Yeah, the stuff like that. That's I'm so the social is going to be in a pilot version from
Uh-huh.
February till May.
okay,
But during that time, the older adults who do come and attend, I'm really going to be picking their brains to know what they would like this event to look like.
okay,
Because ultimately it's for them. And so
absolutely.
they want themed parties. We'll do themed parties.
All right. So how often do you think you're gonna be doing the socials?
And so the pilot, I'm going to each town one time.
Okay,
But after that's wrapped up, I'm going to take all the information gathered, from my experience hosting and from the feedback from the people who attended and the venues that I used. I'm going to reconfigure a more sustainable program because I do hope that this initiative is a foundational program for the Healthy Aging program. And I'm going to pick certain towns to go back to.
okay.
To where there's an overlap of community need and attendance.
That's
So,
important. It
yeah.
is.
And I'm hoping it'll be more regular, to where I might be out there twice a month.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
So I want something more regular.
Yeah. And how are you gonna structure your snacks? Are they gonna be all healthy snacks, or are you gonna throw a little just comfort food in there?
With our public health department, we're not allowed to spend money on food that's not healthy.
Okay.
Now, if somebody wants to bring some more fun stuff,
Okay.
I am not opposed.
All right. Well, you never know. I know there's a lot of people out there that like to bake and do other culinary art type things. So,
Yeah.
and there you go. You've got the art, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You could have a cooking class one time. That'd be fun.
That would be so fun.
Yeah. Get stuff for, the charcuterie boards are such a big thing now. See, I can
Yeah.
even say that now. I
think we can count that as healthy.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, you could certainly have one that had cheese and fruit and vegetables. I was looking at, the reason I bring that up is I was thinking about a charcuterie board that had no meat. It was just a straight thought, but when I started thinking about it and going, okay, so you could have one with cheese and fruit and vegetables and maybe crackers or something like that. And I think that's pretty healthy. I think the reason I was not going to include meat was because I wanted something that was going to stay fresher longer, and I didn't want the meat on the platter for that particular reason. I wanted it to be a little more easily transported, because I was thinking about...
Yeah. Every time I brought a charcuterie board somewhere, I'd have to assemble it there.
Yeah. So
It's, yeah.
there you have it. But boy, that's become an art form. I mean, you could have a bunch of things for people to put their own charcuterie boards together, and it could just be, that's the combination of art. I mean, I've seen little Christmas tree charcuterie boards and charcuterie
The
boards
little
that
salami flowers.
yes, yeah. So it's you got all kinds of things you could do with that kind of a social.
Yeah. So far I'm planning on having coffee and a wide variety of teas, and the oatmeal that comes in a cup, to where you just add hot water.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's already in like a bowl.
Yeah.
And some breakfast bar I haven't quite figured out, and fruit.
That sounds lovely.
But other additions, more indulgent additions, can be brought.
You know what? And once you get your group started, you're probably
This might
gonna
be a natural
yeah,
thing.
a natural extension of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And then do you intend to be the leader of each of these groups, or is your intention to kind of maybe have somebody get into a leadership role so that you could not be there all the time, and then you could be other places having more socials if you had like a group leader
So overall, I'm hoping to be a facilitator,
Okay.
not necessarily the person running the show.
All right.
For the first one, for the pilot version, I am going to be coordinating it and doing the 10-minute health education component. But in the future, I'm hoping that I'll have guest speakers coming in. And if it organically works, that one of the attendees wants to take on more leadership role,
Right.
they'd be welcome to. It's honestly whatever works best for that group of people. I'm not going to be assigning roles.
No,
you
no,
know,
no, not
but,
at all.
But if it's an organic thing, absolutely.
Yes, I like that word, organic. That's kind of where I was going. So, okay, great. And then, do you have a target group size that you're looking for, or just the bigger the better? Or?
I'm hopeful that at each location I'd get at least 15 people.
That would be nice.
Realistically, I'd be very happy if 2 people show up.
You know, it's hard. It is hard, especially since COVID. People got
Mhm.
out of the habit of going to meetings, going out places.
Yeah.
I have groups that they seriously have never recovered from COVID. You know, people just never started coming back. I think a little bit now they're starting to come back. It's getting a little better, but that experience is not unique. The businesses still talk about it. Everybody's still talking about not being completely recovered from COVID. Boy, that shot us all in the foot.
It did.
Really
yeah.
badly.
Especially for the social connectedness piece.
Right.
Yeah, and COVID really illuminated the harmful effects of being socially isolated, and
That it did.
so we're trying. We're trying
Yeah,
to.
it's a tough slog, but I think it's a really worthwhile
I do
project
too.
and a
Yeah.
really worthwhile goal.
Mhm.
Because socialization helps in so many avenues. It's going to make you feel better, and then once you feel better, then maybe you will exercise. And,
Yeah.
you know, who knows, maybe a couple of people from your social will decide, oh, you know what, I don't live very far from you. Maybe we could get together and go for a walk 3 times a week.
That's the best
Yeah.
outcome. You know, it's the most hopeful. Because I really do hope they're not just relying on me. 'Cause
Right.
I can't be there all the time, but I'm hoping to facilitate them forging their own connections.
Exactly.
And especially because I'm going to be going to different towns, I'm hoping they'll meet their neighbors. They'll feel more socially connected to their community, like their direct community.
You know, that's so important because I keep an eye on my neighbors. You know, I know when they're coming, when they're going. They know when I'm coming and when I'm going. And I know when there's a vehicle over there that shouldn't be there. So I can keep an eye on that. And if I know they're home, then that's one thing. You know, one of my neighbors got a new car. I almost ended up calling the sheriff.
No.
Well, because it went in the driveway, it was there for like 5 minutes and turned around and went back out. And I was like, that's
a little fishy.
interesting. Yeah, what's this behavior? But then I think later in the day or maybe the next day, I saw them stopping at their mailbox and getting the mail out, saying, oh, they got a new car. So that explains
Yeah.
that. But I think it really makes a difference. You hear about the neighbors that, you know, they know somebody lives alone, they know they're older, and then every day the curtains get opened at 7 a.m. because that's when they get up. Well, a couple days in a row, the curtains don't get opened, and they go, wait a minute, something's wrong. They go knock on the door and do a health check, you know, and if they're not comfortable doing that, they can call the sheriff and have them do a welfare check. But you need to be aware of what's going on with your neighbors to even know that, oh, that's something different.
Yeah.
That's something that maybe I should look out for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's great because we certainly have gotten isolated from our neighbors, and I don't think Facebook or Nextdoor is really the best way to connect with people because it gets pretty out there sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to have a neighborhood association, which we don't have anymore, but had its good and bad parts. But the good part that is gone is that at least everybody knew who the neighbors were. And that, I think, made us all a little more cohesive,
Yeah.
and we just don't have that anymore. So
Yeah.
it's too bad. Yeah. So good luck. I do want to mention that public health gives out free toothbrushes, and I take them each and every time. I have a couple of little grandnephews. They love their toothbrushes. And actually this year, everybody, the whole family, everybody got new toothbrushes for Christmas and the little things of toothpaste.
Oh my gosh.
I did learn I had to take the floss out because the little boys are
They were just stringing it along.
yeah, so I took the floss out of their little packages, and then one of them saw somebody else's and grabbed it, and I was like, no, that's exactly why I took it out.
And you knew it.
Yeah, they did. I don't know why it's so much fun to pull that floss out, but apparently it is.
But it
So,
is.
yeah, but there again, I realize you're not directly in with the dental program, but if anybody needs a toothbrush, public health can keep you stocked.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And that's really important for mental health too.
Yeah.
I never realized I had a crown that I just really didn't want to spend the money to get it fixed. And then I don't remember who was doing the dental program at that time, but once I found out that your dental health can affect your brain health, then it made it a lot more important for me to get these teeth fixed.
Yeah. Even your heart health.
Exactly,
Yes.
and your heart health.
It's all interconnected.
It is. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. All right. So is there anything else that we should talk about today that we haven't talked about with this program?
Well, I was hoping to share something briefly about the toolkits that I'm hoping to compile
Okay.
that will be available soon. The best way to keep up to date with what I'm doing is our Facebook page.
Okay.
I'll be posting on there when new things are available and when I'm hosting events and stuff. But I'm hoping to build out a medication safety toolkit that'll include a jumbo pill organizer, tips on medication safety, both for the person themselves and then maybe if somebody's helping support the medication management,
Sure.
as well as safe disposal information.
Okay.
Because we do have sites across Calaveras County that will take prescription medications that we might want to hold on to just in case.
Right.
One day we might need it again. But that's not generally the safest thing to do. Just that medications expire and family and friends are the main way that youth get access to prescription medications that aren't prescribed to them.
Sure.
So I'm hoping to include info on that in the medication safety toolkit so that way everybody's at least considering the options that are out there. I'm also hoping to build out a tobacco cessation quit kit for older adults. So the quit kit will be similar to our general population, but include literature that's more geared towards older adults.
All right.
Because there is a little bit of a difference, in terms of the motivation
Okay.
for wanting to not smoke anymore.
So what's the difference? So between an older adult and a younger adult, as far as
Technically, it's the same, but I think our own internal psyche gets in the way.
okay.
So I've met with some people who were over 70 and they know they should quit smoking, but they're also like, why now?
Right.
Like, what am I going to live another 50 years? And that's not really the point. The point's not longevity in reducing tobacco. Smoking it. Within 48 hours of not smoking, our smell and our taste comes back.
Okay.
And so you can enjoy food more. So there's little things that could improve quality of life by not smoking anymore.
I think that smoking is detrimental to your blood vessels, and it's probably detrimental to your heart. So you could quit smoking because you don't want to have a stroke
Yeah.
and have that last 10 years be way less healthy than it could have been if you didn't have the stroke.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it doesn't matter how old you are. There is a big benefit
Yeah.
to stopping smoking because, well, A, there's the cost.
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
smoke,
that's-
cigarettes are expensive.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's quality of life. So,
That's the
you
thing
know,
that we're trying to hammer home, right? Is that it's not really about extending your life, but it's about the quality.
exactly. So I'd rather have 10 years of being active and able to move around and do the things I do right now as opposed to 20 years of not being able to speak very well or maybe move very well because I had a stroke and it affected my speech center. Had a stroke and now I can't use the right side of my body or something like that.
Or even getting winded trying to walk from your car into a grocery store.
That is very true.
'Cause the small things are really what add up to make us feel good or bad. You know?
Oh, they really do. You know, I had a hip surgery. I had a hip replacement. 10 years ago now. And by the time I had my hip replacement, the little ball that's supposed to be on the top of your leg looked like a little square box.
Oh,
I'm surprised that I was even still walking.
you were still moving with that.
But thank God I was still moving. I think that helped my recovery because I never stopped moving. It just got to the point where all I could do was take care of the animals, go to work, come home, and that was about it. And my house was a disaster, and you know, just it had really shrunk my life down to everything that I had to do, and I couldn't do anything more. Once I had the surgery, it really made things better. And about a year later, I was over at El Dorado Bank, and I had an account over at Wells Fargo, and I didn't want to drive over there because it's such a pain in the butt to get between those two driveways. And I went, you know, I could walk. And I did. And it was like the first time in 10 years that I could walk. It sounds like a little short distance, right? But it was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can walk again. And my life is so much better because I love walking.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it really does make a difference. How you feel really makes a big difference in what you're going to do and what your attitude towards life is. And
yeah, if it feels hard, everything's gonna feel overwhelming, and that's not gonna help our mental state.
No, not at all. No, so in the toolkits, are you going to add Narcan to them?
They won't be in my toolkits, or they might.
Okay.
I don't know. We haven't really talked about that portion of it yet.
Okay.
Most of the stuff, these toolkits are still in flux. I'm figuring out what's going to be incorporated, and also trying not to make them too big with papers, you know, because then it becomes overwhelming. But there's so much literature in there.
Right.
So I'm really trying to fine tune what's going in there. But Narcan's a great idea.
Well, just because I've
We'll
been through
see.
the training and I keep it in my
Yeah.
purse and
Oh, I have it too.
yeah. Well, I think I see it. I saw something on TV too the other day. It was a documentary on opioid addiction and opioid use, and they talked about it on there. So I think it's becoming more common.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
The other